just want to say before we get into this video, most of this was videoed a few weeks ago. I just haven't been feeling up to par, but I'm feeling a little better now. And on top of all of the things that went wrong, I got stung by a bee. I was out walking barefoot and a bee stung me on the bottom of my foot, I thought, but then I had blisters on the top and it itched like crazy. But it's much better now. So let's get into this video so you can see what I've been going through. Hey guys, I'm out in my garden. Haven't made a video in a few weeks. The weather here has been terrible. First we got a week of 90. Couldn't come out here that much. I'd come out for a little while early in the morning or late in the evening just to water. That's about all I did. And then after that, it just got so humid and I just didn't have the energy to come. Then we had a storm, 75-mile-an-hour winds, and after that, it was about 2 days later, we had another storm. I think they said it was F2 tornado. All I know is the winds were very high. I thought the house was going to blow away. But the only damage I got was the shed. A lot of little branches fell down, but I don't know. Garden season's not going very well, but I'm grateful for what I have. Well, we finally got a decent rain last night, so I got some of those potatoes up, and this is what I harvest. That was my first batch, a lot of small ones, but I'm pleased with this because believe it or not, nothing seems to be growing good this year. So I'll take whatever I get, and I know some people don't like these little ones, but I love them. I just scrub them up and cook them and eat them like that. Sometimes I'll cut them in half, put a little olive oil on them, roast them, and they're very tasty like that. These green beans were slow coming, but they are starting to grow. So I will get pole beans. These beets down here are still doing very well. And my fig tree, I was surprised. There are figs on here. Let me see if I can find one. They're down at the bottom, but there's one tucked away in there. But when we had the storm, it kind of laid them down, and I'm hoping that didn't damage it too much because I see a lot of little figs coming on it, so hope for the best. Well, I've been trying to get this greenhouse up, but it's not going the way planned. We had a couple of guys who told they were going to put it up. They came and worked for one day, and then they said they were leaving and wasn't coming back. Then we had a storm, and it pushed it a little crooked because it wasn't mounted. So we put sandbags and dirt on the four corners so it wouldn't blow away. Then we had the second storm, and all of the panels were blown out. So that's where we are on that. Very, very, very disappointed. Even with the garden, not growing like it has in the past. But I know I'm getting something. These are sweet potatoes here. They're looking pretty good. Now these, I have to dig the rest of these potatoes out. They are ready to come. They have been ready, but I just haven't had the energy to come out and deal with them. These are supposed to be black-eyed peas. They're looking good. This is a sweet squash that I planted. It was looking pretty good, but now the leaves are starting to turn. I hope I get some of those. Those are my favorite. My little experimental corn. I had a few left from last year, so I just threw them in the ground. Some of them came up. Not doing too bad. This is my zucchinis, growing a little slow this year. But one thing, I put it in my previous video. I had these cucumber plants back here. I had planted one here. You can't even hardly see where it was. And it just shriveled up. Then this one did the same thing. I have two over here in the front. Let me go over here and show you, but I did get a pleasant surprise when I came out. But as you see, this one is starting to shrivel up, but it did give me a cucumber. So that makes me happy. And there is another one back here on this plant, but this plant is also starting to shrivel. There's a cucumber there, but I don't know what's happening to them. They start out fine, and then they just start shriveling up like this. So I don't know. Hopefully next year will be better. Now this basil is doing well. I have to cut the tops off. That's what I come out here to do. But that's looking pretty good. But I'm just surprised. Now I bought these all with the same starts. I put one in this pot, one here, and one here. And these are not doing well at all. My sunflowers, I planted them 3 times this season. Look like the 3rd time they're coming up. They're just going to be small. I put one in this pot here. It looked like it's about ready to bloom in a few days. These are coming up, but they're not going to be as large as they were last year. I didn't think these were, after they wouldn't grow, I just threw 3 seeds in this pot to see if they were viable, and they started growing. Then I was afraid to separate them because I said, well, if I move them, they might die. So something is better than nothing. Now this is a pepper plant. I bought starts for it. It was supposed to be the little multicolor, the ones that are a little red, the sweet peppers. But these peppers are not sweet. They're getting a lot on there, but they're just like a regular, kind of remind me of a green pepper. So these are not my favorite. Don't look like I'll get my favorite. Not this year. Have started getting a few little tomatoes in. The sun we've had has been cooking up my kale. The Swiss chard is doing very well. This sunflower was in with the wildflower seeds that I put. I may have accidentally dropped it. I don't know. But I see the birds have been enjoying it. It didn't get as large as usual, but it's still pretty. You know, I haven't been feeling that well with this humidity, just no energy. And so I have been binging. I don't know whether you look at any of the videos on Next Level Soul. It's a lot of people who've had near-death experience, people that study ancient civilizations. It's a lot of interesting things. You get, it's a little bit of everything. So I was looking at this one video, and he had something very interesting to say about what we should put in our body. Now, I don't know whether you've heard of the Essenes. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. The Essenes were a group of people, from what I understand, that Jesus went to study with during those missing years that nobody seemed to know where he was. This was where he was with them. And this podcast I looked at, he mentioned one of the things that Jesus had to say about what we should put in our body. And it's so important to grow some food, get to know your local farmers, and put good food in your body. So I'm going to play this little clip before I leave.
If, on the other hand, we can truly love ourselves, and the way that love is expressed is by honoring the gift of life, the gift of our bodies. Everything, I mean, simple. Every moment of every day, Alex, we make choices that either affirm or deny life in our bodies on a very fundamental level. What do we choose to nourish our bodies when we take the time for a meal? Something as simple as that. Is the nourishment that we place into our bodies, is it as close to its natural form and is it the highest form of nutrition, or is it a bunch of chemicals in a matrix that have been mushed together in a machine that have never seen the light of day? Those are two very, very real possibilities that we have every day of our lives. Most of your viewers, you have a very sophisticated audience, a very well-educated audience. That's why I love sharing with you and this audience, because we can have these conversations. I think most people in the audience are familiar with the ancient Essenes, Essenes, the mysterious sect that showed up 500 years before the birth of Jesus. Jesus' mother was an Essene, Jesus was an Essene. The Dead Sea Scrolls were written, or at least transcribed, by Essenes. And in the Essene Gospels, there are Gospels that were edited out of the Christian Bible based on Essene traditions. They're in the Vatican libraries, and they're available for, you can do a search on the internet, you can find them. There is a conversation, a dialogue, that the Master, Jesus, not as a religious figure, but as a learned man, he is with a group of people, and they're saying, what should we use to nourish our bodies? Now, you could go through a list of all the good things and all the bad things, and red meat and tofu, and, you could do all that. His principle is so powerful. I learned this early in my life, and I've applied it every day in my life since. He simply said this. He said, the forces that steal the life from your food steal also the life from your body. And the forces that give life to your food give life also to your body. Therefore, choose the forces that give life to your body. And that is a 2,000-year-old principle. Couldn't be more right on. What he's saying, the stuff that you do to the food that destroys that food, the way it's cooked, the way it's prepared, the chemicals, the additives, the heat that destroys that food, it's going to destroy your body. Right on. I mean, you can't get any clearer than that. But the things that allow your food to be alive, to keep those nutrients intact, that's what's going to keep your body intact. And it's an ancient but not an obsolete principle. And this is just one place, one little example in our everyday lives where we either choose to affirm or deny life in our bodies. We choose to affirm or deny life through the language that we use.
This is Lady P from my backyard garden. Peace and love. I'm out.